Baba Vanga, a name wrapped in mystery, a name that refuses to fade, even decades after her passing. The blind mystic from Bulgaria, often called the Nostradamus of the Balkans, gave a series of predictions that still echo through time, like whispers from another dimension. Some call her a prophetess, others a visionary. And skeptics, they dismiss her as nothing more than folklore, a story passed down and inflated over time. Yet, time and time again, fragments of her words seem to align with global events. And now, with the shadow of Comet 3I/Atlas drawing closer to Earth, her warnings about extraterrestrial contact are being re-examined with more urgency than ever before. The question hangs in the air like static electricity before a storm. Is October 29, 2025, the day her most chilling vision becomes real? To understand the weight of this moment, we must step back. Step into the strange and unsettling world of Baba Vanga's prophecies. She spoke of wars. She spoke of natural disasters. She spoke of breakthroughs in science. But hidden among her words were cryptic references to visitors from other worlds. Vanga foretold that humanity would not remain alone forever, that a time would come when the skies themselves would reveal civilizations beyond our own. But make no mistake, in her visions, this was not presented as a moment of celebration, not a Star Trek dream of cosmic friendship. No, her words carried both awe and dread, a dual message, that something extraordinary and terrifying might one day descend from the stars. And then there is the matter of time, October 29, 2025. That date has circulated in certain prophecy circles for years. But now it gains momentum. Why? Because of Comet 3I/Atlas, a mysterious interstellar object entering our solar system from the dark beyond, just as Oumuamua and Borisov did before. Scientists classify it plainly. 3I, the third interstellar object ever detected. Atlas, named after the asteroid terrestrial impact last alert system that spotted it. On paper, it is nothing more than a cosmic traveler, a drifter, passing by only to be flung back into the abyss. But prophecy does not speak in papers. It does not concern itself with data charts and cold calculation. To the mystic eye, such an arrival is never random. It is a sign, a harbinger, a messenger. What makes 3I/Atlas so eerie is the timing. For this wandering visitor, born from another star system, is expected to make its closest approach to Earth around the very same period many point to as the date of Baba Vanga's alien contact prophecy, late October 2025. The thought alone chills the rational mind. A comet from beyond our solar system drifting silently into our skies precisely when prophecy warns of visitors from above. Is this mere coincidence? Or is this the fabric of prophecy itself, weaving into the threads of our timeline? But let us not be naive. When people hear the word contact, they picture glowing beings stepping gracefully out of silver ships, carrying messages of peace. Yet Baba Vanga's words did not paint such a comforting picture. Her tone was unsettling. Her warning was heavy. She suggested humanity would be shaken, confronted with something vast, incomprehensible. Not a friendly visit, not a polite introduction, but an overwhelming presence, one humanity is powerless to ignore. Could October 29, 2025, mark the day when the illusion of cosmic solitude is shattered? Pause for a moment and consider the arc of human history. From the beginning, we have looked up to the skies in wonder. Ancient civilizations mapped the heavens with primitive tools. They worshipped the stars. They told myths of gods descending from above. The Hopi elders spoke of the blue star Kachina, a celestial body that would herald a time of great change. The Mayas saw cycles of cosmic time linked to planetary alignments. And in every corner of the earth, humanity tied its fate to the movements above us. And now in this so-called modern age, science confirms what prophecy only hinted at. Other stars host planets. Many lie in the habitable zone. Statistically, the odds of life elsewhere are overwhelming. But what if life does not remain distant? What if it does not whisper through faint radio signals? What if it chooses to arrive? Baba Vanga's gift was never in scientific detail. It was in piercing the human soul with warnings cloaked in archetype. She once said, "The world will change when the strangers from above arrive." To some, that means aliens. To others, a higher spiritual reality and awakening forced upon us. But whatever the interpretation, one truth threads through her visions. Humanity must be prepared. She warned of unity, that without it, we would crumble. That divided, we would face fear, conflict, even enslavement by our own chaos. But together, as one, we might endure the shock of such an encounter. We stand now months away from October 29th, 2025, with the calendar carrying a strange weight. It's the kind of weight you can feel in the room when everyone stops talking, when something small on the horizon becomes impossibly large. Science plots the path of 3I/Atlas in neat trajectories and numbers. Prophecy leans closer, whispering in older languages and quieter corners. And somewhere between those two worlds, people hold their breath. They named it Atlas, a single word that brings to mind a titan holding up the sky as if the heavens themselves needed support. And then there's the code, 3I, the third interstellar visitor, the third stranger to cross our sun's lane and vanish into the dark. Names have gravity. Names pull meaning toward them. So we ask, out loud or only in the privacy of our thoughts, what if names are not coincidence? Picture late October. The nights are cooling. Cities and villages tilt their eyes up. People who have never watched the sky in their lives find themselves on rooftops, on quiet roads, on balconies with cups of tea gone cold. 3I/Atlas becomes a spectacle, a slow, luminous traveler tracing a path against familiar constellations. At first, the headlines say, "Comet passes near Earth. Spectacle visible worldwide." Screenshots flood feeds. Scientists explain dust, ice, and solar wind. It's comforting neat explanations, tidy graphs. And then the threads begin. Small at first. A pilot reports lights that don't flicker like meteorites. A community sees a tail that curls into a pattern, a symbol that the eye insists on reading. Instruments that once read only noise now register rhythms. A radar trace that answers with an unexpected sigh. The sort of details that, together, make the warm certainty of just a comet suddenly thin. If this is more than a rock, if there is intention wrapped in the glow, then the question that follows is the simplest and the most terrible at once. Why are they here? Quiet, urgent. Will they come bearing help knowledge beyond our reckoning, solutions to ancient plagues, technologies that draw a new map of what's possible? Or will they arrive with the old ambition of dominion, seeing a planet of millions as a resource or a threat to be corrected? Maybe they come as judges, measuring us against a standard we don't yet understand. Maybe they arrive as witnesses, cataloging our noise and our beauty. Baba Vanga's words come to the surface. In prophecy, tone matters more than literal lines. It is the direction of the wind rather than the specific leaf. Her warnings never felt like promises of deliverance. There's a solemnity there, a sense of testing. Not merely moments of spectacle, but of moral weight. If tested, what would the trial ask of us? Courage, humility, mercy, or simply the capacity to reckon honestly with who we are? Imagine religions waking to new questions overnight. The scriptures we've read since childhood, the rituals we perform without thinking, all reframed by a new, overhead reality. Governments, usually slow and careful, would move with a kind of clumsy haste, rattling papers and issuing statements while trying to keep order, and every individual, from the soldier on patrol to the child under a blanket, would feel the old ground shift. But beyond politics and theology, walk with me a moment into the more human corners. The mother who wraps her child tighter beneath the night sky. The lover who squeezes a hand and whispers, "We'll be fine." the old man who remembers how stars used to look when the city lamps were fewer and simpler. Fear will be immediate raw, but so will a strange, candid humility. We will be reminded, in the most primal way, of our smallness and our wonder. Whether Atlas is a herald, a probe, a misread signal, or simply a comet given a mythic shape by collective imagination, that uncertainty itself will crack open something inside us. The real question is not just what is out there, but what will come from within us because of it. Will we cling to the parts of ourselves that divide, or will we find an urgency for connection? Perhaps the test is not only to survive contact, but to answer it, to show compassion when fear screams for exclusion, to choose wisdom when panic demands control, to hold fast to dignity when rumors would shame others. If prophecy speaks of trial, maybe its deepest demand is this: to prove worthy of the corner of the cosmos that has looked down at us and waited. So as the days toward October 29th stack up on the calendar, let the waiting be active. Watch the sky, yes, but also look at each other. Prepare the mind to ask questions and the heart to answer them in ways that keep us human. Because whatever 3I/Atlas is, a stone, a message, or a mirror, the moment will reveal us. And when we finally see the truth reflected in the night, we will know not just what came from the stars, but who we chose to be when the stars came calling. Some researchers believe that October the 29th may not be about ships descending from the skies, but about something far more profound: a lifting of the veil, a moment when denial is no longer possible, when humanity is forced to confront the undeniable truth. We are not alone, and in that instant, it will not be an invasion of bodies, but an invasion of consciousness itself. The human mind, flooded with proof too vast to ignore. Think about it. The illusion of human supremacy gone. History would be rewritten. Religion re-examined. Science redefined. Destiny itself reshaped in a single breath. And maybe this is why Baba Vanga tied her prophecy not only to fear, but to unity. Because without a center, without a moral compass, such a revelation could tear us apart. Behind the ominous imagery lies a heartbeat of hope, a call to rise. Baba Vanga warned us again and again. Humanity's greatest weakness is division. Nations against nations. Faith against faith. People against people. And if we remain fragmented, then when the cosmic storm arrives, we will shatter. But if we rediscover what binds us, if we remember that beneath skin, language, and creed, we are one species, then even the most terrifying revelation could become the beginning of transcendence. So, what does October 29th, 2025 really mean? It might be a day of spectacle, a comet blazing through the heavens, so bright no one can ignore it. It might bring strange encounters, unexplained phenomena, rumors of governments concealing what they see. Or it may be the quietest day of all. No spectacle, no flashing lights. And yet, deep within the currents of destiny, a door opens, a countdown begins. A signal is sent. Prophecy does not always unfold like cinema. Often it is subtle, symbolic, a seed planted in the soil of history, whose true flowering we only recognize years later. And yet, the convergence of 3I/Atlas and Baba Vanga's warning cannot be brushed aside. It is too precise, too uncanny. Look at the world we live in now. Artificial intelligence rising, climate chaos accelerating, wars sparking across continents. And just as we near collapse from within, the skies themselves may send the ultimate reminder. We are not, and have never been, alone. Baba Vanga's prophecy is not just a forecast. It is a mirror. It does not only ask, are we ready to face the other? It asks something deeper. Are we ready to face ourselves? This is the shadow and the light of October 29th, 2025. A date carved into the fabric of speculation. a date that may pass quietly like any other, or erupt into the fulfillment of one of history's most haunting visions. And if Baba Vanga was right, the story will not only be about aliens, it will be about us, about whether humanity can rise to the challenge of contact, or whether we will stumble, consumed by our own fear, because prophecy is not written to paralyze us with dread. Its purpose has always been to awaken us, to jolt us from our sleepwalking, to remind us that transformation cannot wait. When we imagine alien contact, our minds picture a spectacle, a ship descending over a city skyline, a voice echoing across the heavens, a headline that changes history forever. But prophecy rarely speaks in such neat, cinematic scenes. Baba Vanga's visions were fragments, layered symbols, half-veiled whispers of futures not yet decided. She never declared. At 3 p.m. on October 29th, ships will land in New York or Moscow. No, her words speak instead of thresholds, moments where humanity is tested, where the unseen forces of the cosmos confront the unseen forces within us. And maybe that is the deeper essence of this prophecy, that October 29th is not simply a date, but a mirror, a line in the sand between the old world and the new. Think back to 2017. Astronomers first spotted a strange traveler, a lonely object from beyond our solar system. They named it Oumuamua. At first, it was dismissed as a comet, but soon the details grew stranger. Its long, cigar-like shape, its acceleration with no outgassing, its tumbling, chaotic path. Some, like Harvard's Avi Loeb, dared to say aloud what others only whispered. What if this isn't natural at all? What if it's a probe, a fragment of intention from another civilization? The world largely laughed it off, but a seed had been planted. Now, as 3I/Atlas approaches, that seed stirs again. What if Baba Vanga wasn't only speaking in metaphor? What if her visions glimpsed a reality where interstellar visitors are not random stones of ice and dust, but deliberate messengers? And so, October 29th, 2025 stands before us, not as a guarantee of invasion, nor as a page torn from a science fiction script, but as a test of whether we meet the unknown with wonder, or with weapons, a test of whether we let fear consume us, or whether we dare to see ourselves, not as fragile earthlings staring at the sky in terror, but as participants in something far larger. Because prophecy is never just about the stars. It is about the soul of humanity. And the question is simple. When the threshold comes, will we cross it as children of fear, or as beings finally ready to grow? If so, the word invasion takes on a meaning far greater than warships and armies. It is not an invasion of steel and fire, but of awareness. For centuries, humanity has comforted itself with a fragile belief that we are the center of intelligence in the cosmos, that the stars belong to us, merely distant lights in our story. But what if October 29th strips away that illusion in a single night? What if, with one undeniable revelation, we are forced to see ourselves for what we truly are? Small, achingly small. A young species standing on the shoreline of a vast, ancient ocean of civilizations? In that moment, every monument, every empire, every weapon we have ever forged would suddenly seem trivial. Dust compared to those who may have walked among galaxies for thousands, even millions of years. And then, as Baba Vanga warned, the question will not be about them, but about us. Do we cling to fear? Do we turn inward, divided and defensive? Or do we rise into a higher state of unity? The timing is uncanny. We live in an age where secrecy and disclosure walk hand in hand, an uneasy dance of shadows and light. In recent years, governments, especially the United States, have quietly unsealed long-guarded files on what they now call unidentified aerial phenomena. We've heard military pilots, their voices steady yet unsettled, describing craft that defy physics, moving in ways no human technology can explain. Congressional hearings have gone so far as to admit the encounters are real, but withhold the why. It is as though a curtain has been tugged open just enough to reveal a shadow, but never the full figure standing behind it. But if October 29th, 2025 is the moment when that curtain finally collapses, then Baba Vanga's words will not be a distant prophecy. They will be confirmation of a truth many have already felt stirring in the depths of their spirit, that we are being prepared. Prepared for what? That is the riddle. Some imagine catastrophe, a sky darkened by alien fleets, humanity humbled, brought to its knees. Others picture something quieter, a transmission, a signal so undeniable that world powers will no longer be able to conceal it. And then there are those who see something deeper still, not a material invasion, but a spiritual one. Because if contact truly comes, it will not only reveal other worlds, it will reveal us to ourselves. It will tear apart the fragile myths we have built about being alone, and demand of us a spiritual evolution. In that sense, contact is not about them. It is about us. Humanity, standing at the threshold of its own destiny. There is a dimension to Baba Vanga's visions that is often overlooked, a moral dimension. She rarely gave a prophecy without tying it to a lesson. Her words about cosmic visitors were never meant to spark science fiction fantasies. They were warnings, warnings that humanity must look within, heal its divisions, and recover the spiritual core we have long neglected. She insisted on one thing above all. Only in unity could we face what comes from above. Otherwise, any encounter would magnify our chaos. Nations would turn on each other. Leaders would scramble for advantage. Fear and suspicion would guide our hands, and the unknown would be weaponized against us. History tells us she was right. Humanity's first instinct in times of crisis is rarely unity. It is suspicion. It is fear. It is competition, and the tragedy, the cruel twist, is that this very instinct may be what ensures our downfall. Now, imagine it. October 29th arrives, and the world sees something undeniable in the sky. Every human being, no matter their nation, no matter their belief, looks up at the same phenomenon. In that instant, the boundaries that divide us seem irrelevant, and yet, the choices we make in that moment could either dissolve those boundaries forever or sharpen them into weapons. Baba Vanga's prophecy is not just about an external arrival. It is about an internal reckoning. Skeptics will, of course, say it's all coincidence. A comet passes, a date is assigned. A mystic's words are stretched to fit the moment. And yet, even skeptics must admit something crucial. Prophecy is powerful not only because it predicts, but because it resonates. It forces us to ask the questions we otherwise avoid. What if we are not alone? What if our lives are not random? What if the universe is not silent, but waiting? And perhaps most haunting of all, what if the test is not about them, but about us? It is here, in this very question, that Baba Vanga's words carry their deepest moral force. She warned that humanity must rediscover its spiritual center. In an age of technology, of endless distraction, of material pursuit disguised as progress, her warning cuts deeper than ever. Because if October 29th shows us that we are part of a larger cosmic community, then all our quarrels over land, over wealth, over ideology will suddenly look pitiful. And if we cannot rise above them, then no alien presence will need to conquer us. We will have already conquered ourselves. Baba Vanga's message is timeless. The true journey is inward. The true test is of our hearts. The universe waits, but it is we who must awaken. The comet, it is more than just a celestial wanderer across the night sky. It is a symbol, a reminder that we are not isolated islands, drifting alone in the universe, but part of a vast, interconnected ocean of existence. Whether alien ships descend in October or not, the prophecy itself asks a question, a choice. Will we remain blind or awaken? Will we dismiss it as mere fantasy or allow it to stir something deep within us? Because prophecy is never meant for passive spectators. It is not a whisper to be ignored. It is a call, an invitation to act, to change, to prepare, to evolve. When the night sky ignites with the brilliance of 3I/Atlas, remember Baba Vanga's words. Behind the fear, behind the mystery, lies a moral summons, a call to unity, a call to remember who we truly are, not tribes, not nations, but humanity as one. Perhaps this is why she spoke of alien contact in such dramatic, terrifying terms, not to frighten us, but because only something overwhelming, something impossible to ignore, could force us to see the truth. The universe is immense. We are not alone, and the greatest threat we face is not above, but within. October 29th, 2025 may come and go. The comet may pass silently. No ships may appear, and yet, if Baba Vanga was right, the date will still matter, because it marks the moment when humanity is called to choose, to ignore or to prepare, to sink further into division or to rise into unity. Prophecy is not fate carved in stone. It is a warning, a chance, and the choices we make in response will shape the future of our world. As the countdown to October ticks away, the world waits. Scientists track their data, skeptics roll their eyes, believers pray, hope, and prepare. But somewhere, beyond the veil of stars, eyes are watching, waiting, wondering if humanity is ready. And through the corridors of time, Baba Vanga's voice echoes. The world will change when the strangers from above arrive. Whether they come in ships or in spirit, in fire or in light, the change is inevitable. And perhaps, just perhaps, October 29th, 2025, is the day when the skies finally answer humanity's gaze. There is a strange tension whenever prophecy and astronomy meet. One speaks in visions, symbols, divine warnings. The other in numbers, orbits, and cold, precise data. Yet, every so often, they overlap. And when they do, we pause. October 29th, 2025 may be one of those rare intersections. A comet from the void, marked as only the third interstellar visitor ever discovered, arrives just as an ancient prophecy whispers of alien contact. Scientists, they will tell us it is coincidence. Prophets, they will say it is destiny. And humanity, caught in the middle, must decide which story it will believe. But perhaps the truth is not so neatly divided. Maybe prophecy and science are not enemies at all. Maybe they are two languages describing the same reality. One speaks in numbers, the other in archetypes. One tracks the path of the comet, the other senses the weight of its meaning. And together, they tell us something extraordinary, that our age is not like any other, that we stand on the threshold of a cosmic unveiling. Baba Vanga did not live to see this day, but perhaps her visions allowed her to peer across time into the very moment we now approach. What does it mean to be human at such a time? That is the question her prophecy forces us to ask. For if alien contact comes, whether in the form of ships, signals, or revelations, its impact will not simply be external. It will reshape what it means to be us. History may be divided into two eras, before contact and after contact. Everything our religions, our philosophies, our sciences will be forced to adjust. Some will see it as the end of faith, others as its fulfillment. Some will see it as a threat, others as an opportunity. But all will be changed. And that change is not limited to the day itself. Even now, before October has arrived, the very expectation is already transforming us. People are watching the skies. asking questions they once avoided, considering possibilities they once mocked. The seed of transformation is already planted. Perhaps that is why prophecy matters. Not because it tells us what will happen with absolute certainty, but because it prepares us to imagine, to anticipate, and to awaken before it arrives. This is the dual edge of prophecy. It warns of danger, yet it also points to possibility. The comet may bring terror, or it may bring enlightenment, or perhaps both woven together in ways we cannot yet imagine. That is why the date is so haunting. October 29th is not just another number on the calendar. It is a crossroads. And what if nothing visible happens on that day? What if the comet passes quietly? The skies remain unchanged, and humanity laughs at prophecy once again. Even then, the prophecy is not wasted, because the very anticipation of it has already stirred something within us. It has forced us to ask questions, questions bigger than ourselves. Sometimes that is the point. Prophecy need not always be literal to be true. Its purpose is to awaken, to remind us that we are living in a universe that is alive, mysterious, and far larger than our narrow concerns. Baba Vanga's voice echoes across decades, telling us that a time would come when humanity must confront the strangers from above. Whether that time is October 29th, 2025, or whether that date is only the opening of a longer process, the message remains the same. Prepare. Prepare not by building higher walls or stronger weapons, but by healing the fractures within us. Because if we are divided, then contact, whatever form it takes, will only deepen the cracks. But if we are united, then even the greatest shock could become the beginning of our transformation. The comet glows in the distance, its path already set. The date approaches steady as the ticking of a clock, and all the while humanity stands at a threshold, half in shadow, half in light. Will we stumble into fear, or step into wisdom? Will we see the comet as a mere rock, or as a message? The choice may not be written in the stars. It may be written in us. So, as October 29th draws near, let us remember, prophecy is not fate. It is invitation. The comet is coming, yes, but what it brings, fear or hope, division or unity, chaos or rebirth, depends not only on the skies above, but on the hearts within. Baba Vanga's vision is not simply about aliens. It is about us, about whether we are ready to rise to the occasion of being more than we have been. And perhaps that is the true prophecy unfolding, that the strangers from above are not only a threat to fear, but a mirror held up to humanity, forcing us to see what we are and what we might yet become. The skies are waiting. The comet is coming. The date is set. And the question, the one Baba Vanga left echoing through time, still remains unanswered. Will humanity be ready when the strangers arrive?